Greetings. Today we continue our study in the book of Jude. We'll read verse 12 for our text. These are spots in your feast of charity, when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Clouds they are without water, carried about of winds. Trees whose fruit withereth, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots. We've considered how the apostates are pictures of doom in Jude verses 5 through 7. We've also considered the portraits, the marks of their apostasy from Jude verse 11. Now in Jude 12, we begin zeroing in on the character or nature of the apostate. There are 6 comparisons used to describe their character. We've looked at the first, the selfishness of the unseen danger of the apostates, where they're described as dangerous hidden rocks. We looked at number 2, the fearlessness of the apostates in destroying the flock, that is, their deadly false shepherds. Now we'll take up number 3, the helplessness of the false promise of the apostates, defective clouds. It says, these are they, being passed by, waterless clouds under wind. This metaphor would definitely have been appreciated by those of Jude's day. The land of Palestine was totally dependent upon rainfall for irrigation. The prevailing westerlies, as they're called, would come off of the Great or the Mediterranean Sea, and that was the sole source of rain for the land of Israel. In 1 Kings chapter 17:1, it says, and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall be no dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. We go to chapter 18 and verse 1 of 1 Kings, and it says, and it came to pass after many days, that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, go show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. Verse 41 of 1 Kings 18 says, and Elijah said unto Ahab, get thee up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he cast himself down upon the earth and put his face between his knees, and said to his servant, go up now, look toward the sea. And he went up and looked and said, there is nothing. And he said, go again 7 times, which means they went through this procedure 7 times. Verse 44 says, and it came to pass at the 7th time that he said, behold, there ariseth a little cloud out of the sea, like a man's hand. And he said, go up, say unto Ahab, prepare thy chariot and get thee down, that the rain stop thee not. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with clouds and wind. And there was a great rain, and Ahab rode and went to Jezreel. I say to you, in fact, many of us know what it's like to be desperately in need of rain. Then to see a great big bank of thunderclouds, black and dark, appear on the horizon. But as we wait in great anticipation, those clouds are driven right by us by a great wind, leaving us without even one drop of rain. 2 Peter 2:17, in a parallel passage says, these are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. Now, 2 Peter 2:18 describes the apostates as pompous windbags. They speak great swelling words. And verse 19 declares they promise liberty. It says, while they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. And yet, all the while, they themselves are still in bondage. They're promising others liberty. The lost apostate is still a slave and prisoner to sin, because he continues to stand off from acknowledging the truth that would set him free. He is lost because he continues to stand off from the truth of the gospel personally. He is rejecting, or more literally, failing to receive the truth about his condemned state before God and his need of Jesus Christ as his only means of salvation. But on the other hand, some apostates are saved people. Some of these apostate teachers, they have chosen to prostitute the gospel for selfish gain, as we've already studied. This process of apostasy will lead both the lost one and the saved apostates into open rebellion against the gospel of Jesus Christ. The lost in regard to his eternal destiny, and the saved in regard to his temporal dedication. Now 2 Peter 2:17 declared these apostates, lost and saved, are headed for a reserved judgment.